Okay, so as you can see, I have gone through every one of them up until the last one. So see, I've come out here, I have one left, and then I come out here and I'm back to my matching thread, or I should say the beginning thread. Okay, I'll just go skip one, feed through one, and pull my thread tight. Okay, so as you can tell by looking at it, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around. And now I'll just make this clearer for you. There. Cheers, my nails. I did clean them. Gosh. Actually, I've been to the chook house since I cleaned them. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so can you see that clearly? The two threads have come out the same hole. And that's our first bead that we started with, where I said skip one and go into the next. Okay, now generally it depends on the thickness of your cabochon on how many rows you do. In peyote, that's actually called 3 rows. To me it's 2, but go figure. That is what they say. Anyway, the point is my cabochon is quite thin, whereas others can be much thicker. Oh, I've got to do that again. As is the case on this one, because as you can see, I have actually done, oh my goodness, my hands, and that's clean. Sorry, never noticed before. So on this one, there's 1, 2, 3 rows before I've hit the purple. So it all is based on the thickness of your bezel, okay? So on this one, now that I'm around 2, and this is a thin bezel, see, that's really super thin. Those 2 rows are sufficient to hold the side. If I can get the little blighters there, to lay flat. See that, how that's enough to cover the bezel, which is what's called that. So when you're doing the cabochon on the grinder, you always give it a little rim before you start working your way up. Okay, so that covers that. So now I will have to go to the smaller size bead, which is a size number. So this is 2 rows of size 11, and now we're going to do the size 15. If need be, by all means, do it on a magnifying glass if your eyes are playing up. I generally am not too bad on this job. So I'll start you off and or get you started on the next row. So you get 2 bits of string, pull them aside, pick up your next bead, being the different size because you're on a new row. Skip a bead, go into the next hole. If at any time, you'll probably see that my thread, oops, loosened up. Pull on both in the opposite direction just to tighten them up. Now when you thread this next row at the smaller size bead, hope you can see that. Geez, my fingers look bad. It is what it is. Anyway, as I was going to say, when you do this, this is going to pull it tighter because the gap here will fit another 11 nicely, snug. A size 15 will pull that in tighter together, that space. So that's why it comes up over the crystal. Skip one, go in the next. I hope that's visible for you. Oh, and this is where the cotton gives you grief. And it doesn't matter what type of thread you're using. Every now and then, the trick that I do is I drop my needle or drop my work, oh, for God's sake, and unravel, because the threads from going through the process, see how it got twisted there? So I'm just going to hold that, get my needle, and just pull that open till I get this through. And then I'm actually going to show you what it looks like. You will get movement here. Don't be perturbed by it. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm actually now going to hold my thread, drop my work from a height, grab my cotton, run my fingers down it like so, and you will feel it between your fingers as it unwinds and goes back to being flat. It doesn't matter which type of thread you use, it will just do that. Okay, because you're doing a twisting action as you flick your thread out. Another bead. I'm hoping you can see this really well. Skip a bead and go into the top. When you pull your thread through, grab both ends there and tighten it. Don't have to pull too tight, because as you come back around and you tighten it, it will form a curve, because like I said, that's a bigger size bead, these are smaller. You're filling the hole with a smaller bead, so it will pull and bring them closer together. Okay, so I'll do another. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, and go. I'm going to see if I can do this watching the screen. And go through the next one. Okay, so now that I have done a few, as I said, just keep your tension, not overly tight, because you do not want to break your thread, but just give it a gentle tug. I've got to stop watching my fingers, they are so dirty. Even though they really are actually clean. And they were so shiny because I did a little manicure last night, but you can't tell. But then again, I have cleaned out the chook house thoroughly today, cleaned them many times, done the veggies, and it goes on. Anyway, so there's 4 beads of size 15. Okay, I will do it again like I said. Pick up a bead. Have fun with these smaller beads. The trick is put your needle through, hold the bead, and push the needle even further. Grab it, slide it onto your cotton, get your work. If you ever put it down and you are not sure which end you're at, the shorter, oh, is that under the cup? Your smaller length of thread will be your tail. Your tail always goes on your right side, and your needle that you're sewing with, this end, is on the left side. Pick up your next bead, skip one, and go in the next one. okay? So you're filling in that hole. And then a little gentle tug, okay? Oops. So you can see where that's heading. Oh, I should have done it with more distinctive colours to make it easier. That's why I used a white thread, so you could see the thread a lot easier. As time will go, you can practice and manipulate your colours. Whilst at this point I am doing pink and white to go with the rhodochrosite, I should have actually done alternative colours so you could see that a little bit more clearer. But again, you'll play, and it's very easy to do your border and hold your cabochon with the colours that are on it, or in it I should say, and then decorate with other colours or using the colour wheel. Alright, so I'm going to now pause this video, go around one row of white and come back.